How is
I'm good.
the pandemic going? Any news?
It's awesome. It's
I don't
great.
know if I can believe that face.
Yes, you're like it's
Full of
awesome.
enthusiasm.
A
Well,
lot
we
of Netflix, a lot of reading.
yeah, same here. Still waiting for the vampires and the zombies to come.
Uh,
Well, today we are trying this new thing. Hola a todos los de Facebook que nos están viendo. Bueno, en realidad tenemos dos personas que nos están viendo por
Eh,
Facebook. Y bueno, pues el día de hoy logramos por fin transmitir en vivo a través de nuestra página de Facebook de Makeup Design Workshop. Tenemos una invitada el día de hoy. Igual la semana pasada también tuvimos a Gabrielle. Y bueno, pues como nos gustó mucho compartir con ella estos temas de maquillaje y de películas y bueno, pues hacer algunas reseñas, pues bueno, justamente esta semana lo repetimos, pero esta vez con la película de La Mosca o The Fly.
Pinche mosca. I said that a million times in Mexico.
Yes, Mosca and Mosquito. Y bueno, pues vamos a estar hablando de esto. Voy a tratar esta vez de hacer un poquito de traducción. I'm gonna try this time to make a little bit of the translation in Spanish.
Okay.
So that also people that is watching us on Facebook can follow us a little bit more. And
Hmm.
also I am videoing it in the OBS for our YouTube channel. So let's try and see how it goes, okay?
just don't forget it this time.
Yes, I'm not going to forget it. Es que chicos, a veces es un poco complicado entre que estamos hablando en inglés y el hilo y se nos va la onda, entonces bueno, lo voy a intentar.
Aparentemente, además, todos aquí tienen un grave problema de mantener la concentración. O por lo menos ese es mi mayor problema.
Porque
por eso
hashtag
publicaba.
artistas.
Hashtag we can follow the events in our minds and also trying to be on Facebook Live.
Yes.
Pretty much.
Well, I would like to start this one with a very simple question because I was thinking about it when I was like making my notes about The Fly, and I would like you both to tell me to answer when was the first time you saw the movie and why.
Gabriel?
¿Cuándo
I
fue
saw
la
it when it,
primera vez que vieron la película de La Mosca y por qué o en qué condiciones se encontraban?
I saw it when it came out
Okay,
in '86.
in the movie
Why?
theater.
Yeah. Just because it's the kind of thing I like. I'm into, makeup effects and yeah.
Okay, and you, Gabriel?
Probably when I was like 13 or years old, more or less.
Okay.
And I can't exactly remember how. Probably it was in a beta.
Ajá.
Yeah, probably that was the fashion thing, the Beta Max.
Sí.
So probably I saw it in an old copy in a beta, and with all the image going on and forth and blurry, and yeah, those were the condition, and I was just in love with that. I mean, that makeup was hallucinating.
Yes. The first time I saw it was, I remember it because I was having my first prosthetic class in LA. And then I just wanted to see like a lot of, like, have a lot of references, visual references. And I said like, well, I think I have to see this movie. And I saw it and I was like, ew, it's disgusting. Because it is actually.
Yes.
Well, it's an important movie for makeup effects. I mean, it's right up there with John Carpenter's The Thing, as far as the amount of work that's in the movie. And I mean, it ranges from paint makeup to prosthetic makeup to puppets to, it's got pretty much everything in there.
Okay, entonces es una película muy importante para la historia de los efectos especiales y el maquillaje, junto con, por ejemplo, es algo similar como con lo de la película de The Thing o La Cosa, justamente por todo el trabajo que conlleva hacer todo pues estos efectos especiales, ¿no? Igual, Gabriel, si se me va algo, ayúdame. Perfecto.
No tendré el tanto junto con todas las demás cosas que tengo que pensar y traducir.
Sí.
No es raro estar escuchando español y hablando inglés.
Okay.
Pero sí.
Well, so yes, it's a very important movie, and what I really like about it is that, like, comparing it through, or like with the other ones, with the first one and the other movies, I think this one has more logical designs in the when to create the monster, no? What do you think?
Well, I think the first one is actually like a full copy of the short that George Langland wrote in 1957, if I'm not mistaken.
1915, no? 1950. No, see, 1957, because I was confusing it with the Metamorphosis de Kafka, which I was thinking about.
Ah, okay.
Sí, 1915, Metamorphosis.
And it's actually a full copy of that, and it was like this amazing fly head with a little hand that it's not a hand, it's just it actually looks like a lobster.
Sí.
It doesn't have anything to do with the fly, but okay. It looks nice, I think. And it was actually really cute. I like the eyes, and it has a little bit of movement in its mouth. So it was like really cute and a little hairs. Oh, I was just in love with it, actually. It feels cute.
Yeah, I like that makeup in the first Fly. It's cool. I think Ben Nye did it. And yeah, he's got a little thing that actor can wiggle it with his mouth. And it was cool looking. And it's kind of a silly movie because, like, all through the movie, he tells his wife, look for a little fly with a white head. And so because he wants, that little fly with the white head has his little human head on it. And his idea is to go through the teleporter again with the little fly, and it'll put it back. Like, everything will go back to normal, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but I'm not a scientist. It made sense to him. But
in the short, it has sense, no?
Kind of. But it does have that iconic shot at the end of the movie with the little fly trapped in the spider web.
Help me!
Yeah. Wait, let me
cute.
I have right here the image of that. Help me! Because I have it in the OBS. It's this one, guys. The ones you're gonna be watching, like, right now, guys, on Facebook. Is this one? The one you're watching is the one they are talking about, with the guy, like, trapped in a web. Es esta que están viendo, chicos, atrapado en una telaraña, justamente, y habla como ayuda, y entonces llega un señor y trata como de destruir a la araña que se lo va a comer, ¿no? Y bueno, pues son todos estos los efectos especiales de los que están hablando ahorita, ¿no?
And there's a little difference in the short, well, in the novel or in the short. He also transferred a cat before he started transferring himself. And in the movie, the cat just disappears, and he is now atoms in this vast universe. He just disappeared. But in the novel, they actually combined the protagonist, the cat, and the fly.
Yes.
So the protagonist should have had like this kind of mouth of the cat with parts of the fly, and also with the human body. So that's a difference between one and the other. And it would be amazing to see that mixed of things now. It could be more grotesque and yummy.
Right.
Nice. Okay, so that one, the one de la que tú estás hablando, de donde se hace la combinación del gato con la mosca y el ser humano,
Fenómeno.
ajá, sí.
Es el libro.
El libro. No lo vemos
Ajá.
en ningún, bueno, creo que vi por ahí una imagen en algún momento, pero no estoy segura si era alguna película o simplemente de algún fan que hizo esta imagen. Pero bueno, sí sería como interesante también verlo, ¿no? Hacer tal vez en algún momento el diseño de esto. Y de ahí pasamos entonces. ¿Qué? Sí, we can
MDW should do that.
We can try to make like a design of this human with a cat sometimes.
And fly.
And a fly.
And a fly.
You should do that, guys. It will be amazing to see that.
It might be confusing though, out of context, but it's an interesting thought. You know, could you come up with that would look cool?
And then yeah. Tell me, Kevin.
No, I was going to say then they made Return of the Fly the very next year, which had Vincent Price in it again. Vincent Price was in the Fly, and then he came back for that one. But the makeup was really silly. It was like a really big fly head. It didn't make any sense at all. It looked terrible. And then in '65 they did Curse of the Fly, something
Curse
like that.
Curse of the Fly.
Yeah. I don't think there was even a fly in it.
I just saw like a guy with a how do you call this, una media, like from the girl.
Stocking. With a stocking and a weird thing going
like
on in the eye.
Cheese gauze in the head, and it's like, what the hell is that?
I haven't seen it since I was a little kid on TV, but I remember it had something to do with teleportation, but they just called, put the fly in the title so people would go to it. It had nothing to do with the original story.
It's silly. It doesn't have any argument at all. So it's just a movie to watch only because you are doing this.
Right. Yeah.
And then after that one?
Well, we skip ahead to 1986.
Okay,
correct?
Yes.
And we have David Cronenberg's version of The Fly.
Yes! He's amazing!
Disgusting!
Yes.
Love David Cronenberg. I love him.
I met David Cronenberg. I worked on a movie called Videodrome. Where a guy...
We love you, Kevin. We love you.
He sees basically there's a video. This guy runs like a pirate TV station, like back in the early days of cable TV, and he scours the world to try to find outrageous, bizarre videos to play. And basically he sees one that affects you mentally, and he starts to hallucinate throughout the movie. And at one point, his TV set, he has a big, giant, old-fashioned console TV, and he imagines that it comes to life. And it starts breathing, and the veins start pulsating on it. And we had to mold an actual TV, made big ultra-cal plaster molds of a TV set, and then used this smooth-on urethane and built up layer by layer and put air bladders in there, things like that. It was a miserable pain in the ass to do, but the finished thing looked cool. But
it looked amazing.
Yeah, and so Cronenberg, always comes up with interesting movies, and that was one of them that I was lucky enough to be a part of, small part. So The Fly, '86, and a lot of the success of the movie is due to the makeup effects by Chris Walas and his crew, and Chris ended up winning the Academy Award that year for The Fly, and deservedly so. Chris is a very nice guy. I was texting with him last night, and I said I had just finished rewatching The Fly, and we were going to do this today, and I just wanted to compliment him, on how amazing the effects are and the amount of work that was in it, and how good everything looked, and he was like, we were lucky, that everything came together, and he's very humble about it.
Oh, wow.
That was cool.
Yeah, well, it's like an amazing job, and like I said in the beginning, it's I like that it's everything it's thought like starting from the anatomy of the with the human and the fly. No, it's really like all coming together, and like he said in one of the interviews, he really thought about how it has to be like the looking of the fly with a human, no, how it was going to be transformed, and that's why it makes it so interesting because also if you see like the other movie or the next movie, the Fly 2, um, my opinion is that it's just like a mass of something, like it's a fly and it's supposed to be a fly, but it's just like one eye and it's something like strange colors and that. But for the first one, the first movie, my opinion is that you can really see the transforming, and then you can see the logic of the fly becoming, or the human becoming a fly, you know.
Yeah, because they've been blended together. They didn't just swap heads like in the first one. He comes out and he seems the same. He seems normal, but they've been blended on like a molecular, cellular level, and the changes is not immediate. The change comes slowly with him, and it's almost like cancer or leprosy or something where he begins to deteriorate. Because at first he's like superhuman. He's almost like, and he describes it that it's like it's a filter. If you go through this, it filters out all the impurities, and I feel so strong. And he's like godlike almost, before his decline, which is mental before it's physical. He starts to kind of lose grip with, he starts. Yeah. And like how he flies into rages, and like with Veronica, he gets mad at her because she won't go through the device, and then he storms out and he goes to the bar with the arm wrestling scene where he just breaks that guy's arm, which evidently was like a towards the end of their schedule, and so they had to put it together really quickly. But it's really effective. I mean, it's really disgusting.
Yes,
when he breaks actually. You see, I know. And you just kind of like have this painful feel to it.
And then, also with all the materials that they used, like to make this feeling about disgusting and like, I don't know how to say it, como baboso, leaky, juicy. Like that, I was surprised with the amount of what it was, Kevin. It was just gelatin, I guess.
For
like when it like coming apart, and then maybe just like the transformations, and also, I read that it was like when he vomits or takes out the things, like milk with eggs
and honey all mixed together. Yeah. I mean, most of it was foam, as far as I could tell, as far as I know. I mean, it's possible that the arm break was gelatin. I know when he does that on the guy's hand, and the hand melts down to a little stump, and the leg too, that was gelatin that they heated up, because Chris had done that. Chris Willis had also worked on, among many, many other things, Raiders of the Lost Ark. And that sequence at the end when the Nazis' faces are all melting, it was that technique where they're made out of gelatin. You blow super hot air onto them, and then you undercrank the camera so that when you play the film back at a normal speed, it just takes a couple of seconds for it to melt down.
Okay, I'm good.
But the rest of it, I think, was foam.
Okay, I'm gonna translate this. Hola, la gente que se acaba de unir a la transmisión en vivo. Estamos hablando de la película de La Mosca y de los efectos especiales un poquito. Y bueno, pues justamente lo que está platicando ahora Kevin es sobre... Bueno, yo le decía que me sorprende la cantidad que tiene de gelatina y de cosas babosas que tiene la película para que se haga, para que se vea asquerosa.
Suculento y jugoso, muchachos. Mucho jugo hay ahí.
Y bueno, pues está platicando como de este efecto que se logra con hacer alguna prótesis o piezas de gelatina y se calienta con heaters, ¿no? Con calentadores muy fuertes. Se derrite la gelatina y bueno, también lo que hacen es darle un poco de velocidad o también grabarlo y bueno, lo que yo entendí era que se graba y después se pasa como de atrás para adelante, algo así entendí, ¿no?
Sí, más o menos.
Entonces eso también hace que se vea como el efecto de que se está derritiendo el rostro, que lo vimos también en el Arca Perdida de Indiana Jones. Es uno de los efectos donde se está derritiendo al final en la persona. ¡Ah! Kevin.
I was looking to check the Facebook feed.
Okay, yeah, I finished.
No, te faltó lo del vómito.
Lo del vómito. Sí, el vómito estuvo hecho por miel, leche y huevos crudos. Ajá. Y también pues estaba diciendo que la mayoría de las piezas que están hechas, que se hicieron para la mosca, pues son de foam látex, ¿no? Nada más que se le embadurna de slime y de todas estas cosas babosas.
Y tomemos en cuenta que tiene que ser algo que ellos puedan tener en la boca, ¿no? Sí. Entonces por eso es que tiene que ser completamente comestible, si no, pues intoxicas al actor, básicamente.
No. Exactamente. Ok, pues bueno, Kevin, I want you to tell us about the animatronics or the puppets that they used for the movie. I saw you send me some pictures about it, and this is really cool because they use a lot of them. They build a lot of them.
Yeah, they did. There was different puppets that did different things. I'm not sure, because I didn't work on this, I'm not sure how many there were. I know there were some that were mounted onto almost like a dolly, so that it could be pushed. It was so big and it could be pushed along. There was a lot of inner mechanics to it, like even with the arms moving, and it was really cool how they were able to get the movements and like his eyes looking around like that. You'd have to go through and count how many different ones, because I know there's the one where he falls apart and there's the fly guy inside, and then there's another extreme version of it. There's also one when he teleports when he's halfway out of the pod and it teleports. And
when he's teleport? When he's both?
When it becomes part of the machine. So there was so there was that one too that drags itself across the floor, and it's a really great shot when she's got the shotgun.
Yes.
And she can't bring herself to do it, and he reaches up with his little claw and he grabs the barrels of the shotgun and puts it on his head. You know, like please kill me. Yeah.
You know what? It would be nice for our live transmission that gun would be a fire gun, just so, because we were talking about the fire guns on Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, yeah. There was a flamethrower. Yeah.
The flamethrower, yes. Es que estuvimos hablando de películas que tenían puros lanzadores de fuego.
¿De llamas?
De llamas, ajá, es como de otro. Ok, entonces esta película tiene varios, pues en español serían títeres, ¿no? Puppets. Y bueno, también tiene varios animatrónicos. Básicamente lo que hacían era pues a mover los ojos en un punto, tal vez algo de párpados. Y muchos de ellos estaban montados en lo que son como grúas o dollies, con lo que se pueden mover. Y uno de los más interesantes que estaba comentando Kevin es cuando sale la mosca, cuando sale el personaje y se está como combinando con una de las máquinas de teletransportadoras, entonces se le ven así pedazos de metal y todo al final, incluso como que la colita tiene ahí un pedacito de metal también. Y bueno, pues estos son algunos, dice Kevin, habría que ver la película para otra vez, ¿no? Para contar justamente cuántos de estos puppets hay en toda la película. Él no trabajó en The Fly, pero sí conoce al maquillista. Justamente hace unos momentos nos estaba comentando que estaba platicando con él a través de mensaje ayer por la noche. Y bueno, pues vamos a ver si en algún momento se anima a estar con nosotros en una de las transmisiones, pero bueno, lo dudamos un poco. pero bueno, ya con que Kevin tenga el contacto y que Kevin pueda, Kevin, is there anything you can share with us about yesterday that you were talking with Wallace?
No, it was just very, very nice. I mean, he was, again, just very humble about the work. And I asked him, would he like to join us to talk here at some point? And he said, yeah. He didn't know if he could do it in this format, the way we do it, because his hearing is bad. And so he wasn't sure if he would be able to hear questions, but he expressed an interest in doing it, and he wanted to talk to me about gorilla suits, because that's something we both have in common, is building and performing in gorilla suits. So,
wow. Which, by the way, in the movie of '86, we have a baboon in there in the movie.
Yes, Hamadryas baboons, which would be scary because they're pretty big, you know. To just hold something that big. I've been around animals like that, orangutans and chimpanzees and stuff, and when they're little babies, you know, they're really cute, but when they start to get big, you know, they're wild animals and they're dangerous. So.
Well, this one was pretty big, and maybe he was a little bit sedated, I don't know.
It could be. I mean, they weren't above doing that back then, you know, so. They've gotten way better. I'm not saying that any animals were mistreated on that. You know, I certainly hope they weren't, but they've gotten much better. Because I've been around on sets where animals were used with, you know, I didn't like the way they were treated. So I always am a little bit nervous when I see a wild animal. But they used it in a movie.
It's always hard to work with animals and with kids. Both of them, they're very difficult to work with them.
Yeah.
And with animals, it's because you don't know how they are going to react.
Right.
So 90% of the time you are like, okay, let's hope it doesn't get angry and didn't kill us, fight us, or anything like that.
Right.
Ask Dr. Bumblebee because he got crossed with a fly, so yes, it's difficult to work with animals. Okay. What else? Is there something in particular?
Well, I was struck. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was watching the movie, and I write down how many stages of the makeup are, more or less, and it's more in between 5 or 6 stages, which it's pretty cool. So you can see the transition that you were talking about, and how everything started with just these tiny hairs in the scratching his back, and it just escalates, and then you see this amazing. I don't know what was it like. ¿Cómo se dice urticaria?
Like a rush?
Brussels, like
rush? A rush?
Yeah, like this rash all over his body. And it was actually very cool, all these transitions. Some subtle, but it makes you feel more the transformation he's having.
Well, it's cool too that his dentures that he wears, and then his teeth start to fall out, and then when he's pulling his fingernail out, and then he keeps everything in the medicine cabinet, like a little collection of all his body parts, like when his ear falls off. And
I know, the just goes museum.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
But that's the thing with Cronenberg.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No. I was gonna say that I'm gonna put the image of the dentures here. So keep talking about the dentures.
About dentures? I don't know if he had more than one set. I'd have to look at it again. Well, he had the weird little teeth, and then when he lost them, he had like the gums with the missing teeth. Yeah, so he had at least those two sets of dentures. But and again, they were done very well. Yes. But that's Cronenberg's style, is that it's that body horror, and it's like the scariness, whatever's the scary thing in the movie, comes from within, from inside the person. It's not like a monster that comes from outer space or something like that. It's actually in you, and you start to change. It's like very internal with Cronenberg, I think.
Yes. Yeah, actually, yes, because he starts changing his attitude. When he starts looking like this Superman and then just decaying, he's losing his humanity.
I love that shot where he's arguing with Veronica, and she says, "You're sick," something like that, like, "You're sick, Seth." And he goes, can a sick person do this? And he starts punching the wall, and the wood just blows all apart. It's really well done. I like that. I thought that was a very cool effect.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the movie itself, it's almost like Jaws, that the only thing really that dates it, just in the way that the only thing that dates it is the clothing and the hairstyles, and maybe the computer that Seth is working on, is a 1986 computer. And the same like with Jaws, like you could make that today, and the only thing that really, or watch it today, and the only thing that really gives it away that is from 1975 is some of the clothing or the cars that drive by or something like that. I mean, that's just the mark of, such a good movie, that it doesn't seem, of its time necessarily. It's still relevant today. And I don't know if they were alluding to any kind of, with his rash that you'd mentioned before, but I mean, remember too that this was during like the AIDS crisis, and I think maybe that was kind of inspiring, maybe, is my theory, the look of that first makeup. So
nice.
Which was really nice and subtle.
I never thought about that. About the AIDS and the inspiring for the makeup.
Well, it's even like I'd only met Cronenberg once or twice when we did Videodrome, because I didn't go up to Toronto on set. I stayed in North Hollywood and made stuff and shipped it out. But he came over and to talk to all of us about what he wanted, and he was very much into the internal like corruption of the body, and Videodrome was like VD, like venereal disease, and like he had like all these theories about it, and I think that's how he goes into each movie with that kind of thought process. So I imagine that could have carried over into The Fly and the look of that makeup. But I love the stage where Veronica goes over and he has the two canes and he's walking around. The makeup looks so nice, and the way he plays it. And now all of a sudden he's like this little guy, like he's gotten smaller. And then he sits down and he has like a bunch of cookies in front of him, and he just on the cookies, and she's like, and he's kind of embarrassed. He goes, "Oh, that's how I have to eat now," So
again, you.
Maybe that.
The other thing that it's very interesting about the special effects is when he can attach to the walls.
Yeah.
That one is, I think it was really tricky to do it, like tricky, but also very smart.
Yeah, well, there was a movie called Royal Wedding with Fred Astaire, and they had done the same thing where he dances up the wall and dances on the ceiling, and they built a big rotating set, and they did the same thing on The Fly. It was the set rates, and he just, as the room spins and the camera is mounted solidly to the set, he just crawls along and does his dialogue. And it looks great. It's a tricky thing to do, to keep it nice and steady, something that big moving, without it like shaking or, even in 2001 when the guy is jogging inside the spaceship, that was a big rotating set, so that it looked like he was running in circles. But very well done.
Nice.
If you look at the, I think it's on the DVD or the Blu-ray, there's making of The Fly. And again, we're just chatting. If people really want to know about this stuff, there's other places with much more in-depth information. But there is footage of Cronenberg on that set, and he has the pair of fly wings on his back, like just stuck onto his shirt. And they're turning the set, and he's crawling around just to test it out. It's pretty cool. It's pretty funny.
Now that you mentioned the pair of wings, that's what I really miss. I mean, you never see the wings. It could be nice to have a pair of wings. They're only if they like baby wings or something like that. It would be
baby wings.
I miss the wings. Even though he looks so cute, because he looks cute. Sorry, guys. Actually, I love it. I love everything that it looks like a kind of insect.
You're talking about the first one, right?
No. I'm talking about the 86. It looks cute. I mean, look at those eyes. And his body like a mantis. Actually, it looks more like a mantis.
Sí.
And his cute eyes. Oh my God, he's just so cute. And with a couple of wings, he will look cooler.
Okay, I would say that I would be more like with the cute fly from the 57 one, and with the lobster hand, like you said.
No.
Yeah.
Why a lobster?
I don't know. I like how he, because he's turning into a fly, he puts like so much sugar in his coffee.
Yeah.
And then he's always eating candy bars. Like he just needs sugar all the time.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, well, the one thing we haven't talked about is Veronica's dream sequence.
Oh, yes.
Where she gives birth. Once she finds out that she's pregnant and she's seen Seth is changing and what has happened, she dreams that she gives birth to this giant maggot, which is a big puppet that Chris Wales built. It's, pretty scary.
And that's slime and more gelatin and more disgusting things.
That's actually, the doctor is David Cronenberg.
Yes, right? Es un cameo.
Yeah. And a lot of that is, I assume it looks like Methocel, which is a powder that you mix with water to make this slime. And so you make the foam puppet and just everything. It's horrible to work with because it gets everywhere and it's almost impossible to clean up. It's like, it makes a terrible mess, but it looks really good on film. But it gets everywhere, and if you touch it, it's on your arm, and then it's like, why is it on my back? It's like, it's just like everywhere. Do you want to translate anything? Or?
No,
No.
Well.
You give up. I knew it.
Bueno, es más que nada estamos hablando de la secuencia de sueño de Verónica, en donde ella pues justamente sueña que está dando a luz a esta criatura rara de tipo mosca, obviamente, ¿no? Y bueno, pues es un pedazo de foam látex, todo lleno, o más bien cubierto de slime. Bueno, está platicando Kevin que es pues muy complejo trabajar con él, muy difícil, te llenas por todos lados, de repente lo tienes en la mano y ya entonces lo tienes en la espalda y es así como cómo llegó aquí. Y bueno, pues que también Cronenberg, que es el director de La Mosca, hace un cameo en esta escena, en esta secuencia. Es el ginecólogo, ¿no?, que está recibiendo a la criatura. Y bueno, pues básicamente eso es lo que estábamos platicando.
In 1989, we have The Fly 2, in which this dream we were talking about before my internet connection failed. Mm-hmm. Actually, this boy comes to to life, Veronica gives birth to this beautiful cocoon, which inside is her son.
Right.
Yeah, more slime. Lots of slime.
Right.
And for the first 5 years of his life, of course, it's 5 years because he has like this accelerated. How do you say it?
What?
Acelerado. Dios mío, no puedo decir acelerado.
Like very quickly.
Fast growth.
That's
right.
Yeah, he grows like very, very quickly. So he looks, and he looks of 25, but he's actually 5 years old, which is amazing. He also has like this amazing brain because, of course, he's his father's son and he's a bundle after all. So he learns faster, he grows faster, and he's a human till the point this nurse tries to find his vein, which in all the movie that nurse couldn't find his vein. I mean, those are the worst. How do you say it? Dios, estoy pensando en español, perdón.
Está bien, no pasa nada.
Inyecciones, Dios santo.
¿Direcciones?
Mi cerebro, sí. Inyecciones, ajá.
When you shots?
Yeah, an injection.
Injection,
thank you. So when she tries to inject him the last time, which are like 4 times, he starts developing this little more slime, of course. He starts having more slime in his body, and that starts all his transformation, and he's transforming into first a cocoon and then into a fly, a gigantic fly, which is not as cute as the other one, actually. This is green and and more tall. He doesn't like these beautiful eyes the first one has, actually. He looks more sinister, maybe, and maybe it's the coloring, I don't know, but I don't like it so much.
I think it's
because he's not like that cute.
I think it's the thing I was saying before, that this one is just like a bunch of figures, like nothing very organized for me. It's just like, let's just make a monster, put whatever, put whatever you think it will be like if it's a monster.
Sorry, guys.
Just like with one eye, and that's it. And the color, it's just like brown. And I don't know. I don't feel like the same organized, logical design like in the first one. I think that's why you don't feel like it's like it. I think that's why you feel it's not pretty, because even the fly, it's ugly in the first one. The logical of the design, it's pretty.
Probably it's that, and also the coloring. I mean, the color also make it feel more sinister. Though he still has part of his human inside of him. Not all of his personality is corrupted.
I remember they had like walking legs, like if the film was framed off, where you couldn't see the top of the mechanism. And then I remember they had one. There's a scene where he comes smashing through a window, and after he breaks the glass and comes out, his arms shoot out, and that was a whole rig that they would like a puppet that they would fold everything up, and then shoot it like with an air cannon or something through that glass window, and after it smashed through the glass, it was like spring loaded, so like all the arms would like reach out all at the same time, which I thought was really clever. It's a tricky thing to work out for like such a fast shot too, to make a mechanism like that. Chris Walas actually directed that movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the makeup effects guy. Yeah.
Mm, I haven't seen it. I just saw the images and I just saw like some clips of the movie. Because again,
Mm.
I'm so sorry, but I have to say it. I couldn't find it. I just found
I'm
the
not going
fly.
to say it.
I just found the fly, but I couldn't fly the the find.
You can't talk.
I couldn't find the fly too.
Fly too.
So yeah.
Okay.
And well, I would like to maybe, if you are okay with that, finish just by saying that.
I just want to say this week my set dressing.
What is that? Right?
I have to have something.
I saw it at some point when you move a little bit. I saw it and I was like, I'm not going to laugh right now. I'm going to try and stay professional, but I couldn't a lot.
I think I'm just
So,
gonna
right.
go with how do you say, like a play game on our Facebook, and I'm gonna say mention all the elements that Kevin had
Right.
in our MDW Weekend Inspiration and get 5% off in our courses.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. Yeah. Well, I want to say too, a shout. Oh no, Gabriel. Just a shout out to CC Hernandez.
Yeah, Cece, we have it.
For requesting the fly this week. It's funny. I was talking. There's Gabriel. Welcome back. I was talking to CC the other day, and I said we were going to do this, and she says, "Oh, I haven't seen that movie in so long. You know, it's like so disgusting." And it's like you suggested it, you know, but you can't watch it. So there you go. Maybe this will inspire CC to take a look at it again. Give it another shot.
CC, go and watch the fly right now, because you are losing of a lot of slime.
Yeah. And she knows how it's all done. You're all grown up now. You won't be scared.
Yeah, exactly.
And she knows it. She does special effects, so she knows.
Oh. Well, maybe one day we can have her.
So
if she
why
wants. Gabriel,
if
what?
she does make special effects makeup?
Oh no, she's gone again. What are they having, a thunderstorm there or something?
I don't have it here in Playa. You know,
Well, no.
I'm sunny and shiny. I'm shiny.
Well, I'm shiny. I'm shiny too here.
Oh.
Here in the States.
She left again.
Ah.
Well, I'm gonna finish it again, and thank you, Kevin.
Thank you, Alex. It's been fun.
Yes, I'll call you again right now.
All right. Goodbye, everybody.
Adios.
Goodbye.